lineup, Aiello, Kelly, and Large, a freshman. And then defensively with McKelvey, Groff, and Udovich. In front of redshirt junior Cardin Stoller, a returning honorable mention All-American from a year ago. As we're underway with Ohio State in the scarlet red and gray, Rutgers in the white on white. And off of a failed clear, Rutgers will have the first true possession.
Matt Mayfield won the first face-off. He's a 60% face-off. Big Ten Freshman of the Week. And face-offs will be a very crucial part of this game. Rutgers' first offensive possession off turnover by Ohio State.
It is Large here outside. Evan Large, one of just really two freshmen that have seen extended playing time for this Scarlet Knights team this year. That was picked to finish last 6 out of 6 in the Big Ten, but having a big opportunity today on their home field. As Cardilla, a skip pass comes across. Colin Kelly looks for the sweep right.
Good look in.
He draws the help, and trying to fade away a little bit is Hayden Summer. Summer moved to attack, was running offensive midfield due to injuries. Noticeable absent for the Scarlet Knights, Rick, is Shane Murphy, but Murphy said to be healthy and will pop in and play as that shot on the run comes from Evan Large, and Rutgers has backup, so the Scarlet Knights will be thrilled to get Murphy back, but Hayden Summer has filled in and then some.
J.J. Aiello with the ball. He's only been back for about 2 or 3 games, fighting injuries earlier in the season.
Aiello worked over well by Owen Lee.
10 on the shot clock.
Cardilla down the left alley. And Scarlet Knights needing to shoot. Opportunity for Colin Kelly from an angle, and couldn't get it on the 6x6 on Fayok. And the Buckeyes, we're seeing how good they've been this year defensively. Ohio State coming in #1 in the nation in goals per game, 6.5 allowed. And that's been their strength, as it was last year. They finished 7th, led by a team and a unit with Caleb Fayok in goal at a little over 9 goals per game.
Yeah, well, Fayok is one of the best goalies in all of the nation, and they pack in that defense very tight.
And another problem in the clear. 2 failed clears already for the Buckeyes, who came in with a wonderful number there, 2nd in the nation in clearing.
Yeah, talking to Coach Brecht this past week, he's really happy with the way his team has been riding. Ohio State wins the run out on that shot.
A shot taken by Colin Cardilla, and the Buckeyes will try again to come up with a clean clear just underway. Big Ten opener for both. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes preseason #3 choice out of the 6 Big Ten men's lacrosse programs.
Rutgers in a 10-man ride, and again, Ohio State having a tough time with this 10-man ride, but Rutgers fortunate to pick up that ground ball.
Out the overpass, here's Russell Melendez, a pickup for the January semester to add some firepower. A 6th-year player transferring from Johns Hopkins, where he spent 3 years after 2 injury-plagued years at Marquette. Down the left alley, Khalif Hocker. And Hocker on the isolation against the short stick D-mid. Remarkable story. Khalif Hocker tore his ACL just about 11 months ago, last April, while in high school at St. Xavier. And he's been making tremendous strides to kind of fill in and start to play more and more as he gets more comfortable. Here's Hocker again. As Hocker hitches right, takes the shot, and that one stop made by Stoller low, and the battle for the rebound, and Rutgers is on it, and a chance to sprint forward.
Turf monster.
However, falling down was the Rutgers short stick D-mid, and now the Scarlet Knights can push. Cardilla with eyes to the front.
Rutgers is going to sub out their defensive midfield and bring in their midfielders.
Buckeyes have not played since the 12th, Rick. How does that factor in a hard-fought battle where they won narrowly over Denver 6-4, a typical kind of Buckeyes game with their ability to defend and smother teams defensively?
Well, I think coming out of a non-conference schedule into your conference schedule, the extra time is a good thing.
Fayok made the save off the stick, and battle for the ground ball, and Ohio State will come up with it and look to start the clearing process through their tremendous goalie.
Ralph, what we discussed earlier is what we're starting to see right now. It's a defensive battle by both teams.
And down the middle, Dominic Shaw, as Shaw takes the shot on the open goal, but recovering is Stoller.
That was a 10-man ride. Stoller was out of the cage. He had to dive back into the crease to make that save.
Transition chance for the Scarlet Knights, and they pay it off. Casey Mongillo.
That's what great goaltending will get you. Turned it around from an opportunity for Ohio State to score on a 10-man ride. Stoller picks it up, outlets the pass quickly. Rutgers brings it down in transition and is able to put it in the net.
Mongillo really in his second year as a first midfielder, particularly with all the changes Rutgers has had in terms of injuries.
Mayfield and Oldman on their face-off. We're trying to see the number right now. Ralph, can you pick that up?
Yes, it is Matt Mayfield here, freshman out of Katona, New York. And Mayfield has been the revelation Big Ten Specialist of the Week as he wins the face-off. Chance for the 4-on-3. Down it comes to Haas at a quick dunk. Well, Mayfield has kind of changed the outlook of that position, where the Buckeyes last year only 48% for the season. Mayfield a clean face-off win, and the Buckeyes get the quick equalizer.
Yeah, you know, coming into this game, RU, one of the concerns that Coach Brecht has for RU today is facing off. You have two face-off people for Ohio State, both over 60%. Yeah, giving up a face-off is one thing, Ralph. You don't want to give up transitions on face-offs.
Griffin
well.
Liedl will pick up the assist, but Mayfield able to create. And on the pursuit, that is Mayfield again that comes up with it. And shooting on the move, Stoller will come up with that denial on Alex Marinier for the first time. He and Garrett Haas both start today 4 goals shy of reaching 100 in their careers.
Stonewall Stoller made another excellent save there. I think they should have 2 categories on the save percentages, one for outstanding saves and one for routine.
Oh, we can have a whole podcast, Rick,
Yeah.
on additional stats I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Starting with the face-off guys, J.J. Aiello. Scarlet Knights got shut down on their opening possession. They have tallied in transition off of a takeaway. And here is a shot, an active stick on Colin Kelly. Kelly looks to pursue and recover, and it's raked ahead. And the Buckeyes approaching the midfield line. And Ohio State will turn over the Scarlet Knights and handle here on the pickup from Owen Lee. And tremendous core of short stick D-middies at Nick Meyer's disposal, highlighted by the electric Blake Island as we look forward to watching him in transition.
On that last offensive series for Rutgers, Cardilla had the short stick up top. Ohio State was quick to switch off with a long stick, and on the pass, they just doubled the ball and were able to take it away from RU.
Jake Struck now on, freshman of Paul, Ohio. And here is Haas, and we'll get stepping in the crease at Ohio State with an unforced turnover. So that's their third.
Clean clear by Rutgers. You will often see Stoller, every time he has the ball, he looks upfield and tries to find the open man at the 50 or better yard line, rather than setting up a set clear. Two-man game here. Rutgers passing perimeter.
Mongillo to skip. And now the room outside for Grayson Vorgang. Big jump up in numbers for Vorgang, and stepping into place of the injuries that Rutgers has experienced in the offensive end. Cardilla looks to the backside, and with the turnaround shot, but in the crease was Hayden Summer. It would have been a highlight, but Summer could not get it on frame, and then he stepped in.
No doubt that would have been that would have been on the highlight reel of the day. Oh, here comes a shot on the 10-man. It goes far and wide.
As the chance taken by Kyle Foster, but Haas is strategically there. Let's have a look how close this was.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
3 in the opening quarter as we have a false start against Ohio State's Matt Mayfield. So the Scarlet Knights opening up with possession. 11-7 Rutgers in shots. And we'll see what subtle adjustments can be made on the 6-on-6.
So with the new rule this year, Ralph, Mayfield will not be able to take the next face-off. It's no longer a penalty if you jump the whistle 2 or 3 times. You cannot take the next consecutive face-off. So we'll see Old Man on the next face-off. I think that's a good rule.
Yeah, it was previously where you would pick up the 30 after your 3rd false start on the team. Now it's the individual that gets penalized.
Oh.
As that shot, and they'll call the angle here better for Ohio State on the backup and Johnny Cool.
Yeah, I pointed one way, then changed his mind, pointed the other, but I think he got it right. The official, that is. Look at this ride by Rutgers. 3 men on the ball, nobody in the cage, opposite side of the field.
Down the middle, Struck, and Struck just drops the pass.
Stole away out of the cage.
And against the 10-man ride, Rutgers will take it away from the Buckeyes again.
Ralph, Stoller was on the 50-yard line. There was nobody near the cage at all. And if you're going to ride a 10-man ride, whoever has the ball for Ohio State, you have to be on him. You have to have sticks all over him so they can't get a clear shot down the field. Rutgers ball. Cardillo with the ball, swinging it back.
Kyle Foster remains on that matchup, 6'4", 215 from Phoenix, Maryland, who's a 2-year starter at the position. Then that shot taken and a rip from the wing from Colin Kelly. Scarlet Knights have back up.
Colin Kelly took a nice shot, dipped his shoulder, kind of indicated to Fayok where he was shooting by putting that shoulder down and shooting it high and over. Short stick matchup here.
Cardilla, decent step down, and that might be the most room and time he'll have today.
Yeah, just missed that upper right-hand corner by a smidget.
Now Hayden Summer to try to break down Johnny Cool.
Rutgers looking for a penalty on that, but not to be had. The official's going to call a tight game here. Again, trying to pass it across the Ohio State defense, and it's taken down.
Yeah, that's Foster with a clean stick in the takeaway. Tied at 1, Rutgers picking up a goal in transition off of a Buckeye turnover. Ohio State's goal, Garrett Haas, finishing off a 4-on-3 face-off win by Matt Mayfield. So both goals have been in a transition setting to give an indicator of just how difficult each team is going to be able to be broken down 6-on-6. As back behind, there's another drop pass by Ohio State. That's Haas. And Haas just took his eye off of it. Dylan Groff will take the easy ground ball.
Rutgers will have an easy clear on the sideline.
And the Scarlet Knights back to work as TJ Conley will step in. The short stick D made on the clear. Rutgers now doubling up the Buckeyes in shots, 14-7.
Yeah, this ball's been going back and forth. A lot of shots taken. Not a lot of clean shots given up by either team.
As Mongillo gave it up, looking for the lefty sweep, Bennett Rafalian, a rising sophomore midfielder. Shot on the move, and this one squeezes through Fayok. On the move, that's Colin Zeller.
Zeller returns to the lineup today and gets the second goal for Rutgers.
Well, how did
and the velocity it's going to come at you at.
Colin Zeller spending most of his season on the second midfield, most of last year on the first midfield. Face-off win for the Buckeyes. And however, it'll be turned over. Jack Oldman took it, but procedure called on Ohio State. So Rutgers a chance to continue some momentum. They've outshot Ohio State +8, despite the Buckeyes having won 4 out of the 5 face-offs.
Yeah, Rutgers knows they have to take a lot of shots today on Fayok, because he's going to save a lot of them. Zeller going to take another shot. Just missed wide. I think Rutgers' shot selections are pretty good at this point. Oh, mishandle that one.
That's behind Casey Mongillo and a chance to run for Ohio State. And Rutgers able to get back in the hole and defend 6-on-6. So what is the solution on this end for the Buckeyes? Just 7 shots, and throughout this 7-1 season, Nick Myers has lamented that they still have to improve their shooting. Last time out, last Thursday, shot 6 of 47 against Denver, and that was enough to win. But they've been searching for an offensive rhythm to complement how great they are on defense this season. And out of those 47 shots, Rick, also a low ratio. Only 18 of their 47 against Denver were on goal. Here's a save made. Stoller, again, up to the test of the short side. He's able to cut it down as Alex Marinier was trying to turn the corner.
That went off Stoller and then off the pipe. He only gets 1 save on it. Should be 2 saves, but he only has 1 on that shot. Stonewall Stoller. He's seen the ball well today.
First shot for Alex Marinier, fifth-year senior, a 50-goal season last year, third to ever hit 50 at Ohio State, including 3 against Rutgers in last year's Big Ten semifinal, 3 in the regular season. Can they get him looks? And one of the top crease attackmen in the nation.
We see a short stick here. Ohio State does not like to get in these short stick games.
And there's a shot coming up, getting the screen. Colin Kelly just got a little topside and beats Fayok. He beat him to the far post. It's 3-1.
Yeah, again, that was a quick shot. I don't think they expected it. Comes around, shoots it low and away.
The reigning national goal of the year, Caleb Fayok, in a 3-1 margin. Face-off win by Oldman, and Oldman taking the shot, and Ohio State has backup. So, Rick, I think Nick Myers kind of saw what we saw. The last 2 shots, he didn't appear to see the ball or look comfortable as the shot was coming his way.
Yeah, it seemed like he was guessing on shots, and that's not a good indication. I'm not sure if this will carry over into the next half. That's yet to be determined. But yeah, he was just not picking up the ball today.
So Jack Allen is on. He's played sporadically, a couple of lopsided games, or pops in whenever there's been a penalty this year against Fayok. Save is made on Hocker. Meanwhile, on Carden Stoller. He is definitely seeing the ball well on this end.
Yeah, he cut that angle off real good. Rutgers pushing the ball right here. We're going to get a shot.
Splain shot testing Allen, and the stop is made. So the long pole mini, the tremendous Ryan Splain. However, Ohio State trouble in the clear and turns it over.
Well, that was a good take. You want to test.
And Fayok has played about 98% of the minutes this season. Buckeyes have had a couple of lopsided games, but Allen hasn't seen any starting time even in any non-conference games. But he is a junior that's been working behind the scenes at 5'11" from Cambridge, England. Great story. He's been a member of England's U21 national team that, Rick, you and I saw in Limerick
Yes.
in 2022. 4 years ago when he was an 18-year-old. Allen makes the save with the stick on J.J. Aiello. And the ground ball fished out off the sideline by Cullen Brown as he'll skip it across and begin the clear through Foster.
This may be the motivation that Ohio State needs right now. A little shot in the arm. Jack Allen makes 2 point-blank saves. That could have gone in. And he is rising to the occasion right now. You know, I think that the defense for Ohio State is so much concentrated on Cardilla, it's leaving other players open and matchups open for opportunities for Rutgers.
Buckeyes will invert with Liam White. White's been a mainstay there in midfield. And that's Haas coming out in front, trying to get topside, and couldn't get it on frame. Buckeyes now 1 of 10 shooting. Rutgers 19 to 10 in shots, and have scored both goals of the second quarter. And we have a face guard also taking place on the near sideline, as really Dominic Shaw, the short stick D-midi, trying to play cat and mouse with J.J. Aiello.
Aiello, an offensive player, doesn't want to give an opportunity here.
That's Melendez taking the shot. So the Buckeyes content, Rick, to play deeper into that chess match. They're going to play 5-on-5 instead.
Yeah, they're just trying to get a little bit going here against the Rutgers defense and play 5-on-5 and see if they're able to do anything, but they don't.
And trying to avoid the shot clock violation, they put it to the corner.
Ralph, you see more and more teams doing that where they're pulling somebody up to the midfield line and just trying to, like, get in the minds of a defense and just playing 5v5 and see what they're going to be doing.
Nice clearing pass, and then a shot by Mongillo on the run. And Hayden Summer is there for backup. Well, it sure feels like a Big Ten conference opener where the level of chess taking place, the subtle adjustments, possession by possession taking place, and the significance of this one. The Buckeyes ranked number 7 in the nation, and perhaps to great disappointment, losing last year to Notre Dame in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They were a number 4 overall seed, but they happened to be saddled with the 2-time defending national champs in Notre Dame due to perhaps the proximity of Notre Dame and Columbus, and that's why that matchup to a lot of people's perhaps thoughts got put together. Circling, and then the shot is off target, taken by Mongillo above Allen. And the Buckeyes determined to get back there again after finishing 14-3. Scarlet Knights in at 7-2, facing their third-ranked opponent of the season. They're 0-2.
No reset on that, so Rutgers is 10 seconds away from a violation. They're going to have to get a shot off. Vorgang.
Vorgang from 15 yards. Grayson Vorgang with the shot clock running down. 4-1 Rutgers.
Vorgang, when he gets that spot on the left side hash and he has that left-handed shot, he can bring it. That ball was melting. Yeah, Vorgang has time and room. He's one of those players that can really, really pick his spots. Somebody moved there.
And procedure called, and it's against Ohio State again, and Jack Oldman. So a chance to really seize control for the Scarlet Knights. Remember, the Buckeyes have not been a massively proficient offense. 25th in the country, 12.3 goals per game. They've hung their hats on defense the last 2.5 years.
A lot of game, Ralph. A lot of game left. Oh.
Cardilla trying to free himself off the screen. And the Buckeyes put the ball on the ground. Approaching for the scoop was Cullen Brown. Brown then is roughed up by Hayden Summer. And Summer will win the ball back for Rutgers. Moved along by Colin Zeller. Mongillo trying to use a high screen. Mongillo against Shaw. tremendous
ball, yeah.
set of D-middies that the Buckeyes have, headlined by Shaw. Sweeping left. Zeller considered it, still 45 to shoot. Cardilla gets the high screen, and the shot stop is made by Allen, high to the stick side.
Well, I'll tell you, that's another good save by Allen, coming off the bench. Those are good saves.
We'll see if it jump starts Ohio State, at least for the rest of the half. Under pressure is Shaw.
Look at this ride.
And Shaw fortunate to get rid of it against the 10-man ride. Now the heave, and backup belongs to the Buckeyes. The heave taken by Cullen Brown, about a 70-yarder.
Rutgers not happy with that. They felt that was not a shot. He was going down. That had to be an errant pass. The officials didn't see it that way. I agree with Rutgers on that one. I mean, there was no shot on that. That was just a pass. You know, he just threw it because you got to get it down the other side of the field. Second
long pole shot taken from about 65 plus for Ohio State against that 10-man ride empty goal. Haas, meanwhile, has not been able to orchestrate yet. 6-on-6. The shake from Jake Struck. Final 2 minutes, first half.
13 on the shot clock. Here comes a shot.
Solberg outside looking for Hocker, and Hocker dropped it. Transition opportunity as Rutgers looks for the push, and they look down to the crease, and instead it's broken up and taken away.
Yeah, I don't agree with that shot right there.
Melendez will fight off a would-be check.
Especially with like a minute and a half, minute and 40. Rutgers would have been best served if Rutgers had the ball on offense. Clock awareness sometimes. You need to know what's going on.
Jackson Walsh gives it up for Liam White, and White drops it. Boy, that's about the fourth time that we have seen a Buckeye offensive player, a short stick, just drop the ball with not a ton of pressure. And now the shot taken on the move by the Scarlet Knights. Their tremendous D-midi, Joe Youngerkiss.
Yeah, Ohio State has 13 turnovers in this first half alone.
And now with under a minute to go, Rutgers can hold for the final look and sit on a 4-1 lead or more into the locker room.
Evan Lodge is out there, another true freshman for Rutgers. With Aiello with the ball. Aiello's going to challenge. Won't challenge with about 10 seconds left, I think. We're at 24.
The matchup with Dominic Shaw as Aiello sees the clock. 25 seconds on the timer for the shot clock. 15 for the half to close it out.
Gang with the ball, looking inside. You got to look for your inside shot. 5 seconds left. It's got to take a shot.
4 seconds for Grayson Vorgang with one, and Vorgang does not get a shot off. Rutgers holding the ball for the final 55 seconds or so. Along with 13 turnovers, so that has to change too.
Yeah, I think when they get it on their end of the field, offensive end of the field, nice face-off here by Rutgers. They get it on their end of the field, they have to go to full length of those shot clocks, or deep into the shot clocks, and be a little bit more tentative on keeping possession and getting shots off, good shots off.
John Scarelli, the face-off win for the Scarlet Knights. And Rutgers back to work. And then if you're Brian Brecht, what do you think he told his team, particularly into the context where you're not facing Fayok, maybe for the rest of the game? What might have been mentioned about that?
You got to take the numbers out of the game. Don't look at the number in the cage. Just play your offense, and just keep shooting. Don't worry about who's in the goal and who's not in the goal. Because right now, Jack Allen looked very comfortable. He saved three of the saves he made on 4 shots were really good saves.
Back to his left, Casey Mongillo trying to set up the shot. Now sweeping left, shooting Allen, who will make the save down low.
Case in point.
So Allen able to see it. Bennett Rafalian, the sweep left. And the Buckeyes, their lone goal has been scored in transition off of a face-off win by Matt Mayfield down to Garrett Haas. So otherwise, scoreless in the 6-on-6.
That was a quality shot and a great save by Allen. Again, on 4 shots on cage. He's done a good job.
As Hocker gives it up. Haas met by the double. Look at the aggressive Carden Stoller. Even ready to intercept adjacent.
You know, back to your point earlier, Ralph, with the scouting report. Yes, Rutgers prepares all week with Fayok in the cage, what his strengths are, what his tendencies are, where they think they should be able to shoot. And now you have the unknown basically come in, and you've just got to shoot with your natural tendencies. Here comes a good shot.
Hocker went with the shovel shot. You could see how well and progressively when you watched Khalif Hocker, even the early season, freshman from Cincinnati, that was a significant recruit, a 5-star player in the class of 2025. And starting to get healthier, a year removed, less than a year removed off for torn ACL. As that pass by Melendez, and it's a shot clock violation anyway, and Rutgers is going to have it.
You know, it's interesting if you could follow the possessions when Ohio State has them in 6v6 situations. When Hocker's in at number 6, he runs with 22 White and 31 Melendez. When Britt Whistle is in there, number 9, he runs with 10 Solenberg and Struck, number 21. I know they have several of the players on Ohio State listed as attack and or middies, but they don't really go by that. Haas and Marinier are pretty much the guys they run at attack, and everybody else they run in pairs around them.
Hayden Summer, perhaps a force, looked to go off stick side, and Allen ate that up just above GLE.
Yeah, these are the turnovers Rutgers does not want to see. They want possessions as well. And you see again, Ohio State is looking to go on a 5v5 situation here.
Just outside your picture here at SHI Stadium. Now you see the players heading off after the brief probe of the 5-on-5. And the Buckeyes will take behind and work through 7th-year senior Logan Solberg of Los Angeles. Injuries at Yale, one of 3 Yale grad transfer pickups for Nick Myers. But there is a takeaway, and the Scarlet Knights with Connor Udovich. But then Udovich lost it. He could not find an outlet. And the Buckeyes ride will get to him, and the pickup from Russell Melendez.
Udovich did a nice job on Haas and wasn't able to clear the ball. Nice takeaway check on Haas. And here's what Ohio State would like to see. They'd like to slow it down, get to 6v6, get shorty matchups.
Struck. Draw the slide. Finds Melendez. Always been known as a very crafty player that is creative. Russell Melendez able to get his feet set. And the 6th-year senior is able to strike, and the Buckeyes have made it 4-2.
Yeah, to my point, Ralph, once you settle it down on a 6v6 situation,
face-off win for the Scarlet Knights. As picking it up off the turf very cleanly, the tremendous Ryan Spillane, 2nd team preseason All-American.
See, Ohio State riding very, very aggressively here now. Rutgers having a difficult time clearing the ball.
That pass will be eventually picked up. Joe Younger kiss, and then that pass going to the corner for Vorgang, and it's the Buckeyes able to generate the momentum off of their run.
Riding is playing a very important part of this game for both teams.
And this time, Ohio State, after some turbulence in the first quarter, clearing the ball, having a smooth one here. Jackson Walsh, latest to come on. Melendez goes to the jump shot.
Just over the crossbar.
Haas nearly
Good
turning the corner.
slide.
Splain will hold him up, and Ryan Splain with the first shot ground ball pickup. Terrific from Ryan Splain.
Rutgers defense doing a nice job on Haas. I think I've seen at least two or three times where they've actually just taken the ball away from him, picked his pocket. Udovich has done it. Splain has done it.
Summer had the defender briefly held up before Johnny Cool will balance out. Meanwhile, on this end, Colin Cordilla, 20 points totaling in his last 2 games. National Player of the Week, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. As Cordilla handles here, he's been held to just 4 shots. What can the Scarlet Knights do to free him up a little bit more? He's been mainly matched up with Kyle Foster.
Well, right now they're satisfied with the way the offense is going. You know, if you're going to, right there's a short stick, you'll see Ohio State slide right away. They want to get a long stick on him. Good look inside there.
The feed, and Allen will make the save on the behind-the-back shot. Cordilla was able to throw his teammate open, and Allen is up to it. Stop was made on the cut.
Jack Allen
Colin
doing
Zeller,
his
the
part
shooter.
off the bench.
Colin Zeller, the shooter for Rutgers. And under 8 minutes left, third quarter, the Buckeyes have the lone goal. As Dylan McGee, good two-way midi. He will get an offensive run now, 43 in Scarlet Red. Melendez.
Oh, good
And
save.
the save made low with the stick. A sprawling stop for Stoller.
Again, Stoller always looks downfield first to make a pass. 50 and below.
Now for Cordilla. This game has been mainly played on the half field.
Little hidden ball trick here that fools no one. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Vorgang up top, normally doesn't play there. Swinging it around, Cordilla with the shorty. Here comes the slide early.
You got
He'll
Dominic
swing it.
Shaw. Now they go to the back pipe. That's Vorgang. Feed came from Summer, and Grayson Vorgang will recover it ahead of Johnny Cool.
Ralph, interesting part of this game so far. We've yet to see anybody go to the bad boy box. No flags. Clean game. Here comes his shot. Nope.
Trying to use the shoulder is Colin Kelly. And Kelly lost it. Shot comes from the angle. Saved by Allen on Cordilla. So Cordilla's 5th shot. That does give Rutgers a shot clock reset, though.
Yep.
As
Save
we'll
on that. Yep.
As we'll hit 6 minutes to go, third quarter, in a game that remains very methodical.
Evan Lodge with the ball. True freshman for Rutgers.
Large with a pick and pop. Kelly right back for Large, who will take on the D-Midi and find a matchup. Works against Shaw, who passes him off.
Rutgers trying to stay away from those long sticks. No doubt about it.
Now a skip over the top, Aiello. Aiello forced back to his right hand, shot is over the target, and then Ohio State has backup. Kind of a quintessential Ohio State stop from what we've seen the last 2+ years and their tremendous defense.
Aiello had his hands free momentarily, took a good shot. It was just high. And Ohio State wins the run out.
10-man ride still in play. As Stoller lurks, it's kind of a free safety.
Comes the double.
And then Owen Lee smothered and ridden hard, and here comes our first flag on cue, as you requested, Rick Mercurio.
Exactly. I knew as soon as I said it, it would happen. We're going to get a hold probably on Rutgers. See it right in here. Or a slash. Not sure. Yeah, Rutgers certainly want to stay away from this situation. Ohio State, 55%. That's outstanding for extra man percentages.
And Marinier, an obvious guy, number 5 in red. One of the great career he has had, finishing off man-up looks.
It's a 30-second hold. 9 on the penalty situation.
Melendez passes and cuts. Final second. And Rutgers trying to run on and balance up. And Rutgers will get back in. So Ohio State does not get a shot off during the game's first man up.
Rutgers doing a nice job there. I don't think Ohio State expected Rutgers not to press behind at X on that man up. They put all their defenders above the GLE.
Melendez throws it back. Jackson Walsh looks for the shovel shot, and again, Stoller read the shot coming. He came out to challenge anyway, just as the shot clock was expiring.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that had gone in and if it would have counted. Again,
And Stoller's long clearing pass. It'll carry through. Curdilla was hoping to save it, and Ohio State will get it back.
A little sloppy play on Rutgers' part just now. Ohio State, this is what Ohio State would have wanted to do if they, in retrospect, if they went back to get possessions and get some 6v6 situations. It seemed like they were going up and down the field. Good slide there.
Solberg gave it up. Trying to turn the corner. Struck, and Struck will paint the corner. What a shot from Jake Struck on the run. 4-3, and the Buckeyes with both goals of the third. And a timeout taken by Rutgers. Struck the feed inside to Liam White. The speed dodge, and White goes to the fall away.
It's like an alley-oop, turn and shoot. We've got to go 6v6. We can't go up and down the field. Rutgers has not scored since the 4:21 mark of the second quarter. It's almost about a 16-minute stretch now where Rutgers has yet to score. Jack Allen, backup goalie in the cage.
Meanwhile, Jack Oldman, another procedure call. So Rutgers able to get the next face-off. Face-off number now tied at 5 after Ohio State had won the first 4 of 5 to begin the afternoon. Shot on the run, and that's well high of Allen, taken by Rutgers and Bennett Rafalian. Summer off backup and trying to pepper Allen now, and Rutgers having backup again here, this time in the near corner. Jack Allen coming in when the score was 3-1. And Curdilla will beat him to the high stick side. Well, almost taking out some frustration. Colin Curdilla stepped into one. 5-3.
I've seen Curdilla do this time and time again. He'll drive on a defenseman, get above goal line extended, put on the brakes, create distance off of that pick. If you give him time and room right there, he's going to put it away.
A great look at that. That's about a 7-yard step down. And he puts it kind of past the ear hole of Jack Allen. So first of the game for Cardilla, his first point, coming on his 6th shot.
Much needed goal by Rutgers to end the drought of about a 16-17 minute time span where they did not score.
Scarelli and Mayfield.
Ball up in the air off of the X. Who's going to come up with it?
And the loose ball push will go against Ohio State.
Scarelli did a nice job there boxing out on the ground ball and drew the push by Ohio State.
Two very inexperienced face-off guys battling in a game of this magnitude. John Scarelli. Obviously, the Scarlet Knights have had tremendous depth at face-off the last couple of years, but he played just 2 games last year and now has become the #1. Meanwhile, Matt Mayfield was not a Buckeye until July. He was committed to Division III Wesleyan. Coach John Raba there before reopening and having the opportunity to enter the high Division I ranks. As that shot coming from Zeller, not much of an angle.
No reset over the top. Cardilla with the ball. Working behind an X. Trying to get the inside shot on a question mark. Clock at 25, shot clock at 25.
Rick, to me, looks like a much more aggressive approach in terms of Rutgers' shot volume compared to the first half. Zeller, and then a moving screen will be called against Cardilla, trying to free up Colin Zeller.
That was close. They're calling that, on those picks, any kind of moving violation. They're calling it a lot more than they did in years past. Kind of got to be set a little bit.
So Ohio State trailing by 2 again. But have looked much better on offense in this third quarter. And now offsides against Ohio State. A problem subbing on just as Struck was about to dish. But then Rutgers will run into traffic and Ohio State will win it back. That's Jake Struck, this time defensively.
Good heads-up play by Ohio State. Take that ball away. Rutgers had an opportunity there. They have to be more aware of players coming up behind them. That's up to your teammates. Got to yell out. Somebody's behind you. And Dylan Finder is going to be on the ball. He's a true freshman. Coach Breck very high on him, but he's pulling a heavy load right here on this.
As Finder is picked off by Solberg. And now he's dealing with Haas here on a switch. Garrett Haas looks to the backside. He may have had Hocker. And with short time, 9.1 left, third quarter. Udovich defending on ball. Hocker looks for the sweep, then looks for the shovel shot in tight to the short side, final seconds, and Struck's shot would not have counted. Wasn't seeing the ball, meanwhile Carden Stoller has done the job well with 6 saves. And this is already the most playing time that Jack Allen has had in his 3-year career. Just 1 game last year. This is game number 7. 5 games as a true freshman. But he is thrust into a competitive game. Big Ten opener for both teams. And the Buckeyes, the defending league regular season and tournament champions, both firsts in program history.
They're going to challenge this freshman. Every time they have an opportunity, they're going to challenge Finder. And Finder has done a nice job on the 2 or 3 times he's been challenged so far today.
Hocker on Udovich. Finder comes up with the help. Trying to sweep and get the hands free. That was Solberg, backed up behind by Hocker. Then tries to go low with the bouncer. And the Buckeyes do have backup. 30 to shoot.
So Rutgers survives that splurge of shots. Here comes another one.
That's Melendez again looking to beat Stoller to the near pipe.
18 on the shot clock. Ohio State, here comes their fourth shot.
Hocker in tight, and Stoller makes the save.
Oh.
That's the best one he's had point blank.
Oh,
And they'll say it crossed. Rutgers appealing for a review.
Rutgers going to throw that red flag out real quick. Let's take a look at it here. Comes around. Here comes the shot. Yeah, it appears that it went up, and it looks like it went up into the corner of the cage.
Khalif Hocker.
You don't see it there.
And come up with the goal.
Well, welcome to Big Ten Lacrosse. Every game is a battle, like a prize fight, punching each other out right now. Going down to the final minutes to see who will last.
Ohio State with the next face-off win. Buckeyes were just in a prize fight against Denver last Thursday, 6-4. Although that game had a lot more shots and kind of wide open play. Marinier. Rollback struck. And is his shot blocked? Rutgers is able to force it out.
Oh.
And then a big collision in the middle of the field. Scarlet Knights begging for a flag.
That was not a call. Rutgers not happy. Holy jumping Joe. There are big numbers on those jerseys and small ones.
Scarlet Knights do keep possession after forcing it out. And now back to work. They led 4-1 at halftime. Here's Brady Cardilla. First time we've seen him. Now Colin Cardilla. He's got the last goal for Rutgers. A tremendous individual move and shot. As then he stumbles. Cullen Brown will get it on the ground before Cardilla recovers. As he's given the ISO.
Quick to slide. You see both defenders looking to slide inside.
And a pass forced into the high crease area. The pickup by the Buckeyes, cool on the push.
And well, Cardilla knew the slide was going to come from the crease. In doing so, though, he didn't put it where he needed to have the ball received.
And now a chance for Ohio State to tie the game. We were tied just once at 1-1.
.50 in the game. Both teams have their full allotment of timeouts, two timeouts each. They'll come into play as this game progresses. Ball behind, shorty matchup.
It's Jackson Walsh to attack the returning All-American at the position, Joe Youngerkiss.
Challenge and finder. See what the freshman could do. He did a nice job. Slide was good by Rutgers.
Udovich all over the hands of Haas to knock it free, and another fine play by Udovich. Udovich, though, Haas will redefend back. Procedure called against the Buckeyes. That's Udovich that caused the chaos.
Boy, Udovich went out there with a vengeance. Was able to maintain possession, boxing it out as the ball goes out of bounds off of Ohio State. Rutgers looking to slow it down, slow the pace down, get a possession here, good possession. Looking to bring on their midfield, offensive midfield.
So it'll be Mongillo along with Colin Zeller. And Bennett Rafalian will join this first group.
We haven't seen Aiello as of late.
Rafalian shoots on the move.
Good take there. Bounce shot low and away. Rutgers gets the ball back. Vorgang doesn't normally carry the ball a lot for Rutgers. He'll look to dish it off. There you go. Zeller trying to get inside. Back to X.
On the rollback, Casey Mongillo. Rafalian thought about a 15-yard step down. Okay, coming down under 10. And Rafalian has to shoot. Allen will make the save and then pin it to the turf.
Once again, Allen makes a key save in a key situation.
Buckeyes get the clear over the top from Allen. And here is Melendez at Ohio State. Another chance to tie this game. Shots 37-27 Rutgers. Ohio State turned it over 13 times in the first half. Just 5 since halftime. And they've had a greater fluidity. Hocker accelerates. Marinier. And Marinier look for the sweep across. He recovers.
You know, 3 goals scored against Fayok, only 2.
And there's a shot by White off the stick of Stoller. So Liam White tried to challenge him from distance, and now Rutgers opening it up. 4-on-3 opportunity. They go across. Vorgang was looking for the little quick stick. A little alley-oop. Curdilla put it in a good spot. Vorgang couldn't convert.
Good push by Rutgers, but just couldn't find a way to score there. And once again, Ohio State doesn't want to get in this transition game with Rutgers. And I am sure they'll slow it down here with the ball on their side of the field and be more tentative.
Struck. Struck dishing outside. Melendez. Stoller able to slide right to left. And Carden Stoller up to it again. Caleb Fayok certainly gaining national attention in his career, rightfully so. Carden Stoller, redshirt junior from Owings Mills, Maryland. He has been right there. As you discussed, great goalies in the Big Ten and in the country. And a 3-year starter after redshirting in 22.
Is Aiello, Lodge, Kelly for Rutgers on the midfield.
J.J. Aiello, natural lefty. And now the defender hung up as we near 7 minutes to go, fourth quarter.
Plenty of time on the shot clock, no rush on this possession and hung up situation.
Evan Large, throwback, and what a read by Allen. Allen steps back to X and steps right in front of the Rutgers attackman.
That's a heads-up play.
Dominic Shaw looks for the clear. And the Buckeyes again back to work. And what a feel there for Jack Allen, even the courage to pop out for a player that, again, in this game, is seeing by far the most action in his 3-year career.
Looks pretty comfortable in there. Anticipated that pass. He knew that on the slide the ball was going to go to X, and he beat the ball to the X position.
Liam White tried to change direction.
Splain
and then just
takeaway.
slips down, and Ryan Splain is there for the pickup.
6:14. We got a 1-goal game.
Rutgers back to work.
Zeller with the ball.
Zeller's trying to establish a 2-man game with Vorgang. The approach behind.
Rutgers only able to score 1 goal here in a long stretch of time, looking to get us another one.
Mongillo. As he circles, Vorgang no angle.
Good possession here.
Cardilla with an opening to the front. Shot is off target. Vorgang able to capture it. 15 to shoot. It remains 5-4 Rutgers. Zeller on the run. Easy save again to the stick of Allen. Jack Allen came in prepared, and we've seen him blossom over the course of this afternoon. In the first competitive game that he has played in, he's seen time in lopsided games, but nothing like this in his career. And now the Buckeye offense again, under 5 to go. As Struck gave it up, and Dylan McGee.
Younger kiss on the ball.
McGee looks to draw a slide. He'll attack Younger Kiss. And the shot again taken by Struck in tight, and Stoller protecting that near pipe.
That ball just went across the face of the goal mouth. Freshman Finder, they're going to challenge him. Gets a step on him. Good slide by Rutgers to recover. Shot.
Khalif Hocker, and Hocker again beats Stoller. This time he goes to the jump shot. And the high school All-American has tied the game at 5.
Well, what put them in this situation was the early dodge up top. Finder led him, put a good shot in against Stoller there.
Twice named Ohio Attackman of the Year. Dad played basketball at Division II Kentucky State.
Big face-off here. Rutgers looking for a hold on that call's not getting it.
Splain will rake it to himself and pick up a critical face-off for the Scarlet Knights.
Important clear right here.
Just the way the game has been going, Rick, it certainly felt like this won't be a game decided by more than a goal.
Nope, that's just the way it's going to turn out.
And Rutgers having the first chance to perhaps get that game winner.
Like I said before, both teams have timeouts, 2 timeouts, and you'll probably see them being used soon.
Cardilla will send it up top for Colin Kelly. Vorgang will swing for Cardilla. As he gets a screen, he had the matchup against Shaw. The D-mini goes across for Aiello. Shot is off target, and closest to it is Cool. Cool has backup. It's Ohio State ball with 2:46 to play. It was a decent look. However, Cardilla did not attack the shorty.
Yeah, he looked across rather than attacking direct. He went across field, tried to go to the weak side. It was a good shot, just went wide. We lost the run out here. Rutgers lost the run out here.
Cool, across, Shaw, and now chaos again in the middle of the field. Struck tried to save it.
Heads up play here.
And Rutgers will scoop with Udovich. So a failed clear for Ohio State. And a team that has been number 2 in the nation in clearing proficiency. Rutgers gave the Buckeyes a lot of headaches in the first quarter with their 10-man ride. And that appears again here in the fourth.
Rutgers got to get it over. They got 4 seconds.
Stoller. And he'll eventually lob it and lead Rafalian on.
Well, you would think Rutgers would take a timeout here on this possession, but they elect not to because they like what they see on who's on the field playing defense for Ohio State.
Down to Vorgang. Shot low to high, and Allen is there. But the rebound, save made, I think, or even a pipe on the follow-up. The chance was there, and we remain tied at 5. Jack Allen made the first initial doorstep save. And now the Buckeyes with a clear as we'll hit 1 minute to go. Timeout, Nick Myers. Into the stick of the freshman Hocker.
TJ Connolly playing, defending him. He's going to take him behind.
Buckeyes can take it down to about, actually they can hold for the final shot. Shot clock and game clock right about even.
You're going to just see challenges against short sticks here, and mostly from behind.
As Rutgers tried to deny Garrett Haas behind, and Haas has it against Conley, the D-mid. 25 seconds remaining. When will the Buckeyes make their move? Haas.
Want to get him hung up.
The swing back, Melendez. Melendez puts the shoulder in, misses. Back up for Ohio State with 12.7. Hocker waits for the whistle. Time to go, 10 seconds left. The Buckeyes the chance to shoot for the win. Hocker draws the double, outside the look, and Stoller will make the save on White. And the rebound will be cleared, and we will have overtime in this Big Ten opener in Piscataway. Number 7, Ohio State. Number 16, Rutgers, even at 5.
All important face-off.
And Jack Oldman has the face-off win for the Buckeyes. Here comes Shaw. Chance to go quick. Marinier ends it for the Buckeyes. One of the nation's top snipers, Alex Marinier, has had a quiet one, but finishes loudly. 6-5 Buckeyes. And Ohio State's first lead of the game comes at the end of it.